All right, welcome back to another episode of the In Between Overs podcast. We're your host for the day's play. I'm Taran.
And I'm Ishan.
Okay, pink ball test match, day one. India batting first. Are they struggling? Are they in a spot of bother? I don't know. It kind of feels like it. Thoughts on day one?
As the famous Ravi Shastri said during the toss, punches and counter punches. And I definitely think Australia gave a nice counter punch after the first test in Adelaide, the first day, for sure. I think Australia should be happy with the way they played.
Yeah, and counter punch with the first ball of the match. Unbelievable ball. The typical Starc Yorker in swinger. I don't think Jaiswal saw that coming. Caught plum LBW. What a ball. What a way to start the test match.
Of course, Jaiswal with his famous, it's coming slow. Sure, the ball might be coming slow, but life comes at you fast. And cricket is so poetic in that sense. Starc didn't say anything. There was some murmurs after the test match as well of Jaiswal chirping, someone so senior.
Yes.
But the experience shows. First ball, in swing and delivery, very similar to the Burns out during the Ashes.
Yep.
He
Pink
tried
ball too.
pink ball. He
That was a
tried
pink ball
flicking
too. Yeah.
flicking it, but man, dead, caught dead right there, right? And what a start for Australia. I think that's how they needed to start.
Yeah. Yeah. You talk about karma, right? You talk, as you said, what he said about Stark coming on slow and then the Stark just lets the ball do the talking. Man, what a way to answer back to that, right? Yeah, not the best start for India though, losing Jaiswal right away first ball. But then you saw a bit of a recovery. Gill, Rahul got into the game. I think Rahul though was lucky a bit. I remember messaging you. He's living like a cat with 9 lives.
I laughed
Bolin
at that.
comes on. Yeah, Bolin comes on, gets him caught behind first ball, ends up being a no ball, and then couple balls later gets dropped by Khawaja.
Yeah, no, that no ball is such a it must hurt as a bowler for sure. Kawaja's catch, I think, was a little difficult, but to your point, it was an opportunity, right? And in test matches, you can't let go of opportunities. But no, to your point though, Rahul got lucky. But let's just take a moment and let's acknowledge Gill looked really good.
Oh my
Gill looked
goodness.
really good
Yeah.
with his boundaries, and he looked confident as well.
Yeah. Coming back from that injury, missing the test match, he looked like he didn't miss anything. Right from the first ball that he defended, I still remember the crack of the bat. Right, it pinged the middle, and that's just a defensive shot. And again, I remember messaging you. I'm like, the first two balls that he blocked, he just looked like $1,000,000. He didn't score any runs in the first two balls, but it looked so good. And then right after that, he had back-to-back fours.
Yeah, and to come in when the first wicket falls on the first ball of the day's play, it must be daunting as for sure, and especially if you miss the first test. It was his first opportunity really in Australia after a few years. So no, Gill played great, but to your point, that stand only lasted so long.
Yeah. So it was a good little stand there. It got India to about 77 in about 69 by the 18th over, and then Rahul seemed to have triggered not a little collapse, but a pretty big collapse because India went from 69 for 180 all out. What were your thoughts on that period where India just literally put on 111 for nine wickets?
Yeah, no, it's you have to look at definitely the middle order. It was unfortunate, but just no one got it going. There were some good shots played by a few players, but Australian bowling was just too good. And I did feel apart from the bowling, I think the Indian player just played some bad shots or just weren't on it. So it's really disappointing. And lower order can only do so much, but you really expect players such as Pant, Kohli, and Sharma, at least one of them to put up a big score. But it's unfortunate when sort of all three just don't make a dent in the game.
Yeah. Yeah, it was pretty unfortunate that the top order fell the way they did. Although having said that, some of the bowling was extremely good. I know we'll talk about Mitchell Starc in a bit with his 6 for, but just the Australian bowling in general, I think their use of the conditions, obviously they know the pitch better than anyone else, right? I think they use the back of the length delivery really well because at least three of those wickets, at least what I remember, Rahul, Rohit, and Kohli, three big fish, they all fell to back of the length deliveries that bounced a little more than they anticipated. If you think about Rahul, like you can't do nothing about that. You can't do nothing. And then Kohli was caught in two minds again. The bounce of the wicket, he couldn't decide whether he should leave or play at it. He ended up keeping his bat in no man's land, and it caught the edge, right? And then same thing with Rohit. Couldn't really do anything about the bounce. And so from that aspect, some of the bowling was really good. I feel like those three at least they couldn't do much. Maybe they could have planned better for maybe again leaving the ball on length, as they say in Australia. You can do that, but habits kick in sometimes, especially when you play on pitches that generally keep low or the bounce isn't as high. And then coming on playing on wickets, it's hard to suppress your instincts, right? And I say that from just life in general. When you build habits,
Yeah.
it's hard to suppress it. The same thing in batting, I would assume, where you've built habits over years and then you have to essentially suppress your instinct to play the ball, which is hard to do. So kudos to Australia for the way they bowled, where I think they set up the batsman really well. The bowling was really tight. Shout out to Cummins; he came back really well, I think, in this.
Yes.
In this, yeah. So I think India can work on their batting, but the bowling was really good.
Yeah, I know. And then to your point about short of a length, even Pant as well, he got a ripper of a ball that, he couldn't defend it. It just came right at him, hit the top of his bat and went to slip. It's, just
Sorry,
classic.
yeah, I apologize. It was Punt, not Rohit. It wasn't Rohit got out LBW. It was Punt that got the ball that he couldn't do anything about. My
He
bad.
couldn't do anything. No, he couldn't do anything. No, to your point, it was a difficult ball, but that's Australia, right? That's pink ball. That's what happens. It's
Yeah.
unfortunate, but India, India's top order, middle order didn't do the best, but there was perhaps a silver lining in all the batting. What do you think? Where do you see that?
Yeah, well, one was Ashwin. I didn't expect him to put up 22 runs the way he did. He usually
Quick
struggles
22.
outside of he usually struggles outside of India, so it's good to see him fight a little. But then the man of that hour for India, at least in that hour of play, was Nitish Kumar Reddy. The way he played, I mean, he had to score quick runs because the other side were falling apart. But he reminded me, and I've said this before, he reminds me of a young Hardik Pandya. He's
Yeah,
got the mannerisms, he's got the batting technique, he's got the confidence. The
scoop.
Joe Root, the Joe Root
Yeah, yeah.
reverse. Yeah, he played that one. It looked really good, and he really took on the bowling, and he did really well while he was there. It looked like he could get India to a decent score around 200.
Yeah, no, but no, to your point though, like for Reddy, he does have that Hardic tendencies of being that audacious player who's unafraid
Yeah,
to take some shots. So
yeah,
the great, I think he scored 40 odd. I think India really, really needed that at that time. But unfortunately, I think he was also trying to be a little aggressive, batting with the tail end as well, just
he had
because
to.
they were a little more. He had to, right? He's a little more
Yeah, yeah,
susceptible. So I think he could only do as much as he did.
yeah.
But India batting to around 180. What did you think? Did you think that was a good score? Did you think that was below par? What were your thoughts on that?
Unders for sure. I think even after some articles came out saying 250 at least would have been a good target, or not target, a score. Yeah, 180 feels a little under, but who knows? Who knows? Who knows what will happen on day two, right? Yeah, feels unders to me.
Yeah, but so I think part of the reason why India was restricted was, to your point, Australian bowling, but in particular Mitchell Starc. Let's just take a moment and talk about
Yeah.
Mitchell Starc. How did you see his bowling yesterday? Did you see it?
Oh my God, the ball was so hard to see. This guy was not only was swinging, he was swinging at pace. He was clocking 145, high 140s, early 150. He was the ball was coming out so smoothly. What do they say in bowling? He had the rhythm. The rhythm was
Yes.
there. The way his run up, he was coming in, and it just felt so smooth. Everything from his run up to the release to where he was pitching the ball, he felt like anywhere he wanted to pitch the ball, it was going there. Add the swing to his pace, he is absolutely deadly to play. And Jaiswal saw that, and then Harshad Rana got a taste of that with his ball, the way he got out. Oof, what a ball. In swinging Yorker, had no clue, played all around it.
I know.
Yeah,
No, those
left arm swing at high pace is just beautiful to watch.
it is.
As a cricket fan. You don't want to see it against your team, but it's beautiful to watch.
No, it's poetic. It really is. And to your point, his full deliveries were on point, but also his deliveries at a good length because he was able to take it away from the batsman, but also keep it in. So batsmen were in two minds. You saw that I think with Kohli as well, right? It was a few going out, going away from the batsman, but then sometimes just coming in. It was some great bowling, and he had the ball on the string really, and that was a difference maker. I think for Australia to come back from the last test, you needed one of the experienced players to really pull their socks. So
Yeah,
you had Cummins' opportunity to do that, but Starc really just took it upon himself to do that, and you needed that one performance to really, I would say, put the game in Australia's half right now, and it was Mitchell Starc. He was the difference.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. And what's shocking to me about Mitchell Starc is finding out that that was his best figures in Test match cricket. I was like, wait, this guy hasn't taken more than 6 wickets before. He seems like the type of bowler that would probably have an 8 for once. You know what I mean? Like a 7 for an 8 for, like a Stuart Broad or a Jimmy Anderson. I was like, there's no way this guy's just taking 6 wickets. He's too good of a bowler to only have taken 6 wickets as his most in one innings. You know what I mean? So that was a bit surprising to me.
No, same here as well. When I heard, like, first of all, that was his first fifer against India, I'm like, what? He's always played against India. What do you
Yeah,
mean it's the first fifer, right? But no, to your point, having those 6 wickets. When I heard that on the comms, I was also equally surprised. But then obviously you see some of the chatter on Twitter. Sometimes we fail to realize how good the Australian bowling lineup is. They have such great bowlers that someone can get three or four, and it would be a regular play. Whether that's Cummins, Hazelwood, or Lyon. That quartet of players is able to take wickets. So I think sometimes you see those big wicket hauls from key bowlers which don't have the best second or third bowlers with them. But Australia have literally quartet of bowlers who can take a five on any day.
yeah,
So it was equally surprising to me, but I think that's possibly one of the reasons why it was his best figures.
yeah. That's a good point. That's a good point. When you think about the bowling quartet that Australia has, he is or at least to me, he's been used as a enforcer, right?
Yes.
So like giving the ball, go full tilt. If you spray, it's all good. Get me a wicket kind of bowler, like a Mark Wood type, that kind of deal. Whereas Cummins, Hazelwood, they're your, you know, ball length and line, ball after ball after ball, play on the batsman's patience, right? Whereas Stark's the type to sort of hurry the batsman, try to force an error, right? So I think that may have to do with it because, yeah, you're right. You look at who he's surrounded by, and those guys are more likely to take a bunch of wickets than him when you put him in that set of bowlers. You know what I mean? So
I know. No, no, absolutely, absolutely. But no, congrats to him. You love again. It's Australia. We obviously want to see India win, but you when there's beautiful pace bowling, you have to step back and appreciate it. So no, you got to give Stark his flowers. Incredible bowling.
yeah, yeah, beautiful to watch. All right, so India shot out for 180. Australia responds with the bat. All eyes on Boom Boom Boomerang, and looks like Australia came out a bit unscathed. It did pretty good for the start to their batting there. Kawaja got out, Bumrah got him, and then I think just before that, Bumrah had McSweeney, but there was a drop.
Man, if Pant didn't go for that, I definitely think Rohit Sharma could have grabbed that. Again, as we mentioned in the Kawaja drop, in test matches, drops are sins. You can't let it happen because more times than less, it'll come back to haunt you. And McSweeney looks in good knock. He's played some good shots. He's had a few boundaries as well. So it's been a little expensive on India's side, but no, definitely upper hand Australia.
Yeah. Yeah, Australia with the upper hand. Shout out to McSweeney. This is his third innings, and he looked good. He looked good. I caught some of the highlights. Obviously, it was too late for us to watch it live, and he looked pretty solid in the package that I saw. Some of those boundaries, his pull shots, really good. First time watching him play that kind of innings. Obviously, haven't seen him play domestic, or he doesn't play 20 really, right? So, or any other format. So he looked good. He looked solid, and then was nice to see Labuschagne as well. Again, from a cricket fans' perspective, with all the pressure that he's under, be able to survive that tricky period under the night sky. Faced 67 balls, scored a little more than 2 runs this time.
Yeah.
See, but as an Indian fan, I want both of those guys out within the first couple overs.
I know, and then you kind of did expect that, with the pink ball, it's getting darker, and I definitely, I guarantee you, there's an ominous feeling when Australia came out to bat because if we remember last test, India was considered under par at that moment as well.
Hmm.
India's bowling really brought them back into the game. Fortunately, that could not happen this time around, but it's a test match. It's 5 days, so anything can happen.
Yeah, I mean, India's still in the lead, right? Australia's still got to muster up another 94 runs to get into the lead, so anything can happen from now till then. They always say it's that period right after sunset, dusk, is when the ball does the most, and it's hard to see the ball come off the hand, which funny enough is when India had that collapse. If you think about it, it was towards the end of the day, as in the actual day, right? So that'll be a tricky session for Australia, I'm sure. And I know India will be looking forward to that because that I think will have a great impact on how far Australia will get with their first innings.
Yeah, no, no, exactly. And what I again, we I was only to catch I was only able to catch some of the highlights as well, but listening to some of the commentary and discourse after the match, I think I would really want to see a little more of aggressive captaincy from Rohit Sharma. I think Burma did that really well last test. With such in my opinion, the game's at a very delicate balance. And I definitely think the first session tomorrow will be super important. So you definitely have to really go guns blazing to get, I think at least a couple of wickets in the first session to really either maintain the lead or keep it pretty close going into the second innings.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. We got to see some aggressive captaincy from Rohit. To your point, Boomer did such a good job of that in the last Test match, which really played on the Australian batting minds as to how to score their runs and stuff, coupled with really tight bowling, right? So you can set aggressive
Exactly.
fields, but you also need to have tight bowling. So India needs to keep up with the bowling. If you look at the economy, not too bad. They bowled 33 overs. They only got away with 86 runs. So it seemed like they were fairly tight. You're looking at the economies of all the bowlers, barring Nitish Kumar Reddy, the other three did really well. So if they can stick to being patient, hit the right line and length, and just add that pressure and make run scoring hard, I think eventually a mistake will happen.
No, no, I think exactly the same. It's poised really well in my eyes, and this is what you look for, right? I think this is a really important test match for Australia as well as India. Australia is back against the wall, but India, they really want to prove themselves and really drive the nail in the coffin for this series. So I think it's
Yep.
poised extremely well.
Yeah, it looks poised well. So having said that, what is your slog sweep prediction for day two?
Well, day two prediction, that's a good one. Let me think. I definitely, again, just my prediction. I think if India is able to get a quick wicket, like if they're able to break this partnership, I definitely think something similar might happen to Australia that would happen to India of a collapse. Because really sometimes get India's tail up when they get that quick wicket. The field comes in. Everyone's more aggressive. Siraj has that newfound attitude and aggression. So I think India, if they're able to get a wicket early on, I think India could have a really good opportunity to bowl Australia out with while maintaining the lead or keeping the margin relatively close. What about yourself?
Okay, okay, nice. My slot sweep. I feel like Australia is gonna end up getting in the lead. I don't
Okay,
think they make a massive score. I think it's gonna be around 270, 275. So it's gonna be lead around 90 to 100. And the standout batter, McSweeney. I think he's gonna. I'm predicting 100. I'm predicting him batting right till the end. And yeah, that's my
that's a big call. That's a big call. But oh my god, what a story that would be though. You know, two unfortunate innings in the last match and a century. In their third inning, that would be incredible. And I know for him, that would be a huge cat off his shoulders because he's been really under the.
Yeah, yeah, and it you feel for him, right? Under the radar, and he's just starting his Test match career. Like you give him some room to breathe at least, right?
Yeah,
Like, hey, he's 38 runs in. He's only got 62 runs left, so it can't get easier than this, I guess.
but
Because
hey,
otherwise he's got to start over at zero.
oh my gosh, I know. But hey, it's the pink ball, man. Anything can happen.
Yeah, yeah. Anything can happen, and hopefully things happen for India, for us at least, as Indian fans. But at the same time, we want to see a competitive match. So both looking forward to day 2. That's a good place to wrap it up. We'll see you on day 2 at the end of the day's play. That's Stumps for today. Don't forget to like and subscribe.